24-0 the final score here inside Beaver Stadium as Penn State knocks off Indiana and improves to 5-0 on the season. Welcome into the Unrivaled Postgame Show. I'm your host, Mitch Gerber, and coming up on today's show, we'll hear from head coach James Franklin. We'll also visit with quarterback Sean Clifford and Tariq Castro Fields following Penn State's defensive shutout over Indiana. Now let's take a look at how Penn State got to this point after a 24-0 victory. We're going to pick things up in the first quarter. This was Penn State's first offensive possession with a score. Sean Clifford moving the ball down the field to his trusty wide receiver, Jahan Dotson, who picked up his 7th consecutive touchdown so far in 2021. 7 straight games now for Jahan Dotson with the touchdown reception. He continues to be a dominant force for this Penn State offense. Parker Washington, this was on 4th and 7 in the first quarter, just over 6 minutes on the clock. Talk about momentum. That opened things up for right here, Brenton Strange with a touchdown towards the left side, a 10-yard receiving touchdown for tight end Brenton Strange, the 2nd of the season for him, with 5:14 left on the clock. And now here's Penn State defensively stopping Indiana with a big-time 4th and 2 goal line stand to keep that shutout going. Here we are still in the first quarter. Big hole for Kevon Lee. Good to see the running back get things going. His number 24 finished with 74 yards, or 74 yards rather, on 8 carries with a long of 44 yards that you just saw moments ago. Kevon Lee, good to see him getting the backfield going as Penn State's rushing offense finished today with 209 yards on the ground, 199 yards through the air, including that touchdown right there. Clifford to Jahan Dotson. That continues to be one heck of a offensive weapon for Penn State offensively. Here we are, Arnold Abikady with a big-time sack after Michael Penix Jr. left the game with an injury. Sean Clifford now here in the third quarter connecting with his wide receiver, Jahan Dotson, on 4th and 4 towards the right side. I mean, what can you say other than this connection is special? And that's where we're going to start tonight's Unrivaled Postgame Show with quarterback Sean Clifford. Cliff, the 18th touchdown between you and Dotson this season. What makes the connection between you two so special?
I think it's just the work that we put in the offseason. Jahan is an extremely hardworking guy, and that whole room honestly is. So it makes me better. They're pushing me every day, and to have a guy like Jahan, what I think is the best wide receiver in college football, it makes it easy. So
the play on 4th and 4 where you were able to connect with Jahan towards the right side, that was ultimately a dagger for Indiana at that moment in time. Take us through that one.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit off schedule. Had to step up, as you can see, but Jahan keeps the play alive, and guys just making plays downfield. So we got a bunch of athletes, and skill athletes, and a good game plan gets you pretty far. So, and we're seeing the benefits right now.
Overall, offensively for you tonight, how would you evaluate your game as a whole?
I think that I left a lot still on the table. A lot of completions, a lot of easy completions that I thought that I could have gotten back, and just making a couple more plays. But obviously excited for a win. That's all that matters. 1-0, and big one next week. So gonna be grinding hard.
When you talk about some of those throws that you could have made that you will ultimately go back and watch on the tape, how do you sit down and physically evaluate yourself with some of those things in the back of your mind?
Yeah, I think you just got to be critical, ultra critical of yourself, and see, okay, is there something that needs to be addressed for the week? Looking at it, I think that the short game RPO throws, I missed a couple easy ones, and that's something that I just got to come out Tuesday practice and get some extra reps with either a receiver or just have someone standing off and make sure that I'm feeling confident going into the next game and leaving no stone unturned. Just covering all the bases and getting better.
Let's not cut it short right now. So stripe out tonight, 105,000 fans inside Beaver Stadium, the second primetime game for this program on ABC. How much fun are you having out there right now?
A lot. This is a fantastic team, and I'm proud to be a captain. I'm proud to be their quarterback, and it's fun to come out and play football with these guys. So it makes my life easy, and especially when the fans come out. I mean, that was the coolest experience. I mean, the stripe out, the whiteout's something. The stripe out's giving it some work now. The stripe out was legit, so it was a lot of fun.
As 3-time captain Sean Clifford here on the Unrivaled Postgame Show. Appreciate your time. Enjoy your night.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sean Clifford on the day was 17 of 33, 178 yards and 3 touchdowns for Penn State offensively. Kevon Lee, the running back, had 74 yards on 8 carries, a long of 44. And his wide receiver, Jahan Dotson, as Cliff was just talking about what makes that connection so special, he finished with 84 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 8 receptions. As you get a look at Kevon Lee, followed by Jahan Dotson. Great analysis from Sean Clifford right here. Obviously stepping up, being able to connect with his wide receiver, Jahan Dotson, on 4th and 4. But man, what an unbelievable connection between the two of these individuals that continues to be amongst the best in college football. Once again, 24-0 the final scores. We just caught up with quarterback Sean Clifford. We'll await to visit with head coach James Franklin and Tariq Castro Fields. Ask him about this defensive shutout for Penn State as a defensive unit. Arnold Ebiketie, I mean, this guy right here, what an absolute monster. Steps up after Indiana's starting quarterback Michael Penix Jr. goes down. And then here he is, Arnold Ebiketie, absolutely making the presence aware. Here we are defensively, too, in the 3rd quarter. Good break up there by Daquan Hardy to be able to keep things alive. And then Penn State with the special teams play of the game. A blocked field goal attempt, 21-0 at that point in time, as Penn State would ultimately pitch a 0 in this one as we welcome in head coach James Franklin.
I was trying to get a look at that. I wanted to see, on the field. I couldn't necessarily see it.
Let's flash that one back up and start right here. So I believe it's Arnold Ebiketie that ultimately blocks this kick.
It really collapsed the whole side. He obviously, I think, is the one that got his hand on it, but we really collapsed. You look at it, we collapsed the whole side. Wow, that's impressive. That's impressive.
Arnold Ebiketie continues to play out of his mind on that defensive front. What makes him so special?
Well, first of all, I love that he's got a huge smile on his face all the time. We've known his high school coach for over 20 years, me and Deej. He's been raised really well. He's very appreciative of the opportunity he's got here. He works his tail off. Obviously, he's got quickness and speed and power. And he's put some weight on now that makes sense. He's put some weight on. He's about 240 pounds when he got here from Temple. And now he's playing at, over 250 pounds, and is what we need, and also what I think is going to be important for his future.
Defensively, your defensive unit's able to put a 0 up on the board for Indiana. What does that say about Penn State's defensive unit?
Well, you look at football nowadays, in the old days, if you held people under 400 yards, you were having a great day. And across the country, it's almost like people don't play defense anymore. I think part of it is how teams are built. There's such an emphasis on offense and offensive head coaches that you don't build it the right way, and your practices aren't the right way. But Coach Pry, the defensive staff, and our players totally embrace how we go about our business, and to hold that opponent to a shutout. I don't think they've been shut out since 2000. They haven't been shut out since 2000. Is impressive, especially in today's day and age of football.
Oh, that certainly says a lot about this Penn State defensive unit. Now, flipping sides to the offensive side of the football, 18 touchdowns between Clifford and Dotson. From your perspective, why is that connection so unique?
Well, I think a couple things. Obviously, Jahan's a really good player. It starts with that. I think scheme-wise, we're doing a good job of getting him the ball. And then I think obviously Sean and Jahan have been playing together for a while. So there's really good chemistry in games. And then there's really good chemistry, in practice and just the time that they've spent together. So a lot of value there. We got to continue to build on it. Got to continue to get Parker and Keandre involved.
We saw the highlight of Arnold Ebiketie. I want to flash that 4th and 4 connection between Clifford and Dotson up if we can right now, and have you kind of break down this one right here.
Whoever's back there controlling us, it's impressive how quickly they're getting this stuff up there. Yeah, I just think Sean's ability to step up in the pocket, keep his eyes downfield. If there's an open option there, he's taking it. But I also think the fact that he's hurt people over the last couple of years with his feet opens up things like that, because you better respect him as a runner too.
Coach, appreciate your time. Enjoy the win.
Thanks. You don't want to talk about the 50-yard field goal?
Let's talk about the 50-yard field goal.
CTG gets no love around here?
Do we have the highlight of the 50-yard field goal?
CTG gets no love?
We don't have the highlight of the 50-yard field goal.
Oh, my gosh.
How
Come
about
on.
it, though?
Give Joe Lorig and CTG some love and stout.
What's stuck out about that one?
It went through the uprights.
50 yards. Coach, appreciate your time. 24-0, the final score as Penn State wraps up their 5th victory of the season, improving to 5-0 in their 2021 campaign before they ultimately turn the page towards Iowa, which they will take on next weekend in Iowa City. But for now, it's all about embracing the 1-0 mentality. 24-0, the final score, as you see head coach James Franklin going down the tunnel right there. He'll go meet with the rest of the media and discuss some of the exact same things that you just saw on the Unrivaled Postgame Show. Love the analysis from Coach about Arnold Ebiketie and that block, and it's really the first time that he's seen that highlight, so that's the uniqueness and exclusiveness of the Unrivaled Postgame Show. Let us hear any questions or comments that you want answered as we go along here for a couple of more minutes, awaiting Tariq Castro Fields. And then we'll ultimately close the book on today with Penn State and Indiana. And then we'll be back next week for the Unrivaled pregame show with a to-be-determined time from Iowa City. Can't wait to see all of you who are a part of that on the Unrivaled pregame show. That's once again from Iowa City. Let's flash those highlights up one more time in a full game recap. See if we can get through all of them this time before we welcome in Tariq Castro Fields. But this is the first scoring possession for Penn State. It's ultimately Parker Washington, who you're going to see here in a second, on a 4th and 7 play that kept this drive alive. And it's not the only 4th down play in this game that was made both on the offensive and defensive side of the football. Here you got John Levitt running towards the left side, and now here we are, 4th and 7, 6:35 left on the clock in the first quarter. What a connection between Clifford and Parker Washington. That kept this drive alive, and then it was Brenton Strange collecting the second touchdown of the season for number 86, a 10-yard reception. That made it 7-0 at that point in time. Here we are, 4th and 1, first quarter, 2:16 left on the clock. A huge goal line stand for this Penn State defensive unit. You see number 17, Arnold Ebiketie, on the right side of your screen right there, making a big play once again. And then here we are with Kevon Lee, who finished with 74 yards on 8 carries with a long that you just saw of 44 yards. But he had those wheels turning, baby. Left side, right there. Kevon Lee, 74 yards, 8 carries. Penn State's offense would finish with 209 yards on the ground, 199 yards through the air, including that touchdown right there. Dotson, Clifford, unreal connection. Arnold Ebiketie, we've talked about it a couple of different times now. There he is, making a sack. Just another typical day in paradise for number 17. Saw him when he came off the sideline right there, and let's say jacked up is an understatement at that point in time. Here we are, Clifford, Dotson, touchdown. 7 consecutive games for Jahan Dotson with a touchdown reception. Broke that play down a couple of different times now on the offensive side of the football, once with Sean Clifford and once with head coach James Franklin. If you missed that a few moments ago, go back and watch that. Here we are defensively again, 21-0. Daquan Hardy with a nice pass breakup right there. Tariq Castro Fields there to watch it, best seat in the house. And then the field goal block. Special teams, CTG. Changed the game. Arnold Ebiketie with another field goal block, the second of the season for number 17. Might have been Brandon Smith a little bit there. Got a hand on that one. And here we are, the last clip of these highlights with an interception from Jair Brown, picking up the 3rd interception of the season for number 16. As we now welcome in Tariq Castro Fields. And Tariq, a shutout for the defensive unit today on Penn State's side. What do you take away?
Yeah, I just take away, if we practice hard, stay true to our approach, good things will happen, and that's what happened today. So I'm super proud of all the guys.
This was an Indiana team that can certainly move the ball, but you guys held them to 69 yards rushing, 195 yards through the air. What was the difference as you went down the stretch?
Yeah, just playing with confidence, everyone trusting each other that they're going to do their job. It just setting the tone early. I mean, that's a good bunch over there, but we just wanted to set the tone early, not let them get anything, and just always bounce back no matter what happens during the play. So
that defensive front that you get to play with every single day, both in practice and then on Saturdays, what makes them amongst the best in the country?
Yeah, I mean, they're relentless in their rush. They definitely make my job way easier. And I can play with confidence at the line, knowing that they're going to be able to get to the quarterback and do things like that. So, I mean, it's a blessing for sure.
How does that help your confidence, knowing that you have those guys up front?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to cover it for as long. Just things like that. I feel like we're all gelling well right now. We're playing complimentary football like Coach Franklin said, and I'm having a lot of fun.
You being a leader in that locker room, What is your message after a game like this to your teammates?
Let's keep going. I mean, we have a long season ahead of us. We can't get complacent. Yeah, we're 5-0, but I mean, we're trying to chase and we're trying to. I just feel like the sky's the limit for this team. So never get complacent. Work hard every day. Follow our formula, and then we're going to be good.
You've been a part of many Penn State teams, and last year we were talking to Odafe Owe on the Unrivaled Pregame Show today, and he's like, man, I wish I could be there this year, that crowd, the team. Yeah. How is this year's swagger, I'm going to call it, different than years past?
Yeah, I think we're just close. Like, when you love the man next to you, I mean, you're willing to do anything for him, and that kind of shows when we play. So, I mean, we definitely have swag, and it's coming from the secondary. The linebackers got swag, the D-line got swag, and it's swag, and everyone has their own like type of style, so no one's trying to be someone they're not. So it's been a huge blast. I mean, it's my last year, so.
A group of unselfish players, to say the least. Here we got Joey Porter's interception in the second quarter, 4:16. What'd you see on this play?
I mean, to be honest, I gave up a pass before that, so I mean, just for him to make that play for me, I mean, it was great. I mean, shout out to him. Joey's been playing super well.
How, from your perspective, how has Joey been playing at the next level?
He's been playing just smart football. He has more confidence. He knows the system, and that's kind of showing right now with him being able to play off, being able to play press, being able to play zone. Just little things like that the average fan won't know, but I see it. So.
Tariq, appreciate your time. Enjoy the victory.
Thank you.
That's Tariq Castro Fields as they held Indiana to 69 yards rushing, 195 passing yards through the air for Indiana today as Penn State pitches a shutout, 24-0 in this one. Penn State will turn the page now towards the Iowa Hawkeyes next Saturday. It'll be a 4 o'clock kick on Fox. Big noon, I believe, will be in town. College game day to be determined. But nonetheless, a big-time opportunity for this Penn State football program. 24-0 the final score here inside Beaver Stadium. We'll see you next Saturday for the Unrivaled Pregame Show.